Anyway, so I was interviewing Taylor today. Taylor Budd is here with me. And 2 days from now will be a full year of no food for Taylor, which means that it's been 363
in a quarter, I don't know.
363 days of no food. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
How's it feel?
It's nice, man. I mean, it doesn't, it doesn't really feel like trying anymore at this point. It definitely feels like, it was like an emotional release. It didn't really feel like something I had to think about doing or anything like that. It was more so I released the emotions that were tied to the things I was driven to eat, and then I no longer wanted food. I just pretty much woke up and was like, this is done. This doesn't serve me anymore because I've got to the root cause of this, and it's pretty much, I guess, what changed it for me. Just the emotional release.
Yeah, huge emotional release.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess a lot of people are on here following my journey because I did 97 days of no food. Taylor was obviously a very huge inspiration of that, and
you could have went a lot longer, though.
I could have gone so much longer. I know I could have, but it was more of a mental game for me. It was really more of just like, do I really want to do this? Like, am I afraid of food? Am I afraid of the titles or the numbers or the distance and the time and all these different things? For those of you who are just joining, I'm here with Taylor Budd, and he is coming up on a full year of no food. He's been on a breatharian journey, chronic living journey, food-free journey for the last, I don't know, what do you say, 6 years, you said?
Man, I got the Metanetter found me. I look at it like books be finding you.
Yeah, definitely.
Metanetter found me like 2011. I didn't really fully comprehend it really till 2012 as far as like practice.
Yeah.
And then as I started to apply it, by 2013 I was completely sober, and I did my first year of liquids. And then
the liquidarian lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I wanted to share it, and then I fell off the wagon trying to bring people up instead of just continually going forward on my own path and letting people have their own process.
Right.
So then once I started to just do things because on my own volition and what felt right within my core, then I just naturally released things emotionally to where I switched lifestyles to the one that I fathomed, and then now here I am. And it's not more so, it's not trying to do it, like before when it was for other people and I felt like, look guys, there's another life available to us, let's do it.
Yeah.
I was kind of trying to
finding something totally different.
Yeah, kind of trying to force people to see it my way so that I could police myself through them in a sense, kind of, in a lot of ways.
Yeah, so actually I wanted to talk about this too, but like I've talked to quite a few people who are a part of this lifestyle, chronic living lifestyle, food-free lifestyle, and they claim to not be practicing breath work. And to me that's really crazy, because like with my journey, I never wanted to quit food. I never wanted to be like, oh, I'm going to be a breatharian now. I'm never like trying. I was never pushing. It was, I learned the breath, and a few days later, I didn't have an appetite for food anymore. So like, what do you think about that? Because there's actually a lot of people out there right now that are fasting and restricting and cleansing and doing detoxes and all these different things, and they're not doing breath work. And to me, that just seems so backwards.
Yeah,
it seems so crazy.
It's like just like leaving an element out of the chain. Like, you have your water fast, you're getting your sun, your solar gazing or whatever you're doing, you're earthing, and then you're just leaving a huge element, this basic element, which is the basis, pretty much, the ether or the air. That's a huge, element that's being left out, and you could capitalize on that and really make your fasting journeys a lot easier and a lot more comfortable. So I don't really get it. I feel like if you're not breathing, then it's a lot tougher. Then you're more so in resistance. You're resisting the food.
It's just pushing, right? It's just really pushing against like your nature.
Yeah. I feel like you're definitely going to end up resisting foods instead of just naturally not even thinking about them. Because I feel like the breath work changes your thought pattern, and then that changes your eating pattern, and then you don't really even think about certain foods.
Yeah.
But if you're just saying, you know, I'm gonna stop doing this, I'm gonna force this, then I feel like you're more so identifying with the voice in your head, and then that could go anyway, you know, based on, you know, whatever could happen to you in your life, you know, emotional traumas, whatever.
Oh my gosh, how do I flip the camera?
Oh.
This peacock right now. This is so cool. Okay, sorry to stop the conversation, but that is amazing. Like, so pretty. Okay, anyway, someone said, Pranic Life said, breathwork makes the dream work. It's true. Yeah. Breathwork is the base of detoxification. It is the base of your nourishment. The breath is the true source of nourishment. And food is just for entertainment. Yeah. So if you're going to restrict, if you're going to fast, if you're going to do anything like that, like, you need to learn how to breathe.
Yeah.
It's so important.
I mean, you're taking on these foods that are pretty much, you know, I guess, captured breath in a sense anyway. Like, you're like, you know, the plants are performing photosynthesis or photon synthesis, which is like solar gazing, which your lungs are going to do and what your skin is doing. So then you know, you're going through this middleman to get what you could get on your own. And then, you know, the more you do the breath work, then the less you even think about the external, and then it just gradually happens, and you gradually change instead of like trying to police yourself and force yourself into doing things.
Instead of forcing and restricting and pushing yourself into it.
Because if it's mental, I feel like the people would say it's mental, then you're identifying with thoughts, and then you know, that's not you're the consciousness. Thoughts are a product of consciousness, so you can't identify with thoughts. You know, your thoughts and emotions are, you know, they're gonna really be dictated by your breath. You know, if you start the day and you shallow breath all day, then your thoughts are going to be a different way than if you started with breath work.
Definitely. Oh my gosh, I notice that so much too. A day that I don't breathe is a noticeably bad day.
Yeah.
Consciously sit down, close my eyes, breathe for 30 to 40 minutes or however long I feel like. But like, that's the minimum for me. That's like the absolute, like, non-negotiable. Same for you though too. Like, you don't even leave the house until you at least breathe.
Yeah,
for a few minutes.
Yeah, it definitely
for an hour.
Yeah, it feels hurried. It always feels like, what's more important than this? Because it feels like the foundation for peace.
Yeah, and I've really tested it too. Like, I've tried to be like, okay, I'm gonna go on with my day. I'm just gonna like have a day and not do breath work and just see what happens. And it's like everything goes wrong. Everything that could go wrong does go wrong. And it's not even just like within myself. It's like, say a flight gets delayed, or like, you know, it just could be anything. Like, literally anything could go wrong. And I feel like that's why the breath is our superpower, because when you can control your breath, you start to control your life.
Yeah.
It's all a reflection.
Yeah.
Someone asked, what's the best breath work to start with?
Man, for me, I started with Tummo. Tummo. It's spelled a bunch of different ways, but Tummo is what I started with. For other people, it might be something else. They might want that psychedelic rush that comes with the hyperventilation,
which is the faster breathing.
So some people might want to go Wim Hof just to get that psychedelic experience from hyperventilation
and to feel like an effect right away.
Yeah.
So like the breath work that Taylor taught me in the beginning. Taylor was the first person to teach me breath work, by the way. The breath work that Taylor taught me at first was so boring and so hard and so slow. It's slow, diaphragmatic breathing, expanding the belly on the inhale, contracting on the exhale, 1 breath per minute.
Yeah, or less. You know, you can get up to less than that. I've seen you do less.
Yeah, lately I've been doing, like, if I'm really focusing on it, I can do like 1 breath per 2.5 minutes. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I remember being like 1 breath per song, or maybe 2 breaths per song when we do the music. Like,
something like that. Yeah, just really slowing it down.
Yeah.
So to do a 1 breath per minute, you would be doing, I guess, like a 15-second inhale, 15-second hold, 15-second exhale, 15-second hold. You know, things like that. Just like really like kind of counting it out like that. But I mean, the slower you can get, I mean, that's the whole purpose, is just slowing down the breath, slowing down the body.
Yeah, and then the thoughts come slower, and then you can examine them. Because it's like almost like when you're editing a timeline in Photoshop, or like when you're editing a video editing, you know, in that software, and you zoom in on the timeline and you can see all the little parts of it, like, you know, or if you edit music, this is pretty much what it's doing, like slowing it down to where you can pretty much like examine, like, oh man, in this amount of time I have this many thoughts, you know, and you pretty much, realize.
You can really start to see it shines light on everything.
Yeah.
It shines light on like all of your thoughts, because a lot of times people don't think about what they're thinking about, or they don't even know what they're thinking about. So when you really start to slow down the breath and like close your eyes and really just examine your internal world, like so much can come to the surface, and you just start to realize like what's really going on inside.
Well, yeah, because if you've been traumatized, then you're not really processing all the things that are happening now. Because if you've been traumatized, so then you go into a shallow breathing, syndrome pretty much, to like, because you can't process it. Deep breath is going to make you process deeply. So if you get traumatized, then you like chopping up your breaths into little ones because you're just trying to process in little bits, and then whatever's happening to your life at this moment, you're not processing that either. So you're pretty much just like creating this huge line of things that aren't processed, and then you got thoughts that you have been thinking since who knows when, and you haven't fully processed them because you haven't fully breathed. And since you were a baby, since you were a kid, and you weren't really thinking consciously.
Right. Yeah.
Because you know how it is when you're like a kid and you're just running around. Kids run around with pot bellies, and they have that, they don't have that tension in their belly.
No, they're breathing from their belly.
Yeah.
You see any kid under the age of 3, really around that age of 3 or
especially
under.
infants.
They're breathing, they're expanding their belly on the inhale. They know to breathe from their belly. But as we get older, we're traumatized. We have all this stuff that we're carrying around with us as adults. So it's like, then we start to breathe shallow and breathe into our chest. So it's like this, like that type of breathing has a place in our life, but not daily. Like you shouldn't be breathing like that all the time. It's like, stressed out, like.
Yeah, if you're playing really hard, because I don't like to say working out, exercise. I feel like that shit is all measured. I feel like you shouldn't be measuring life like that. It makes it miserable. But if you're playing, kids definitely get out of breath. They run around and enjoy the body, and then I see it with dogs too, man. You watch anything that's in touch with the breath, that's just in its nature. It just runs around, enjoys its body, and then it just breathes and sits still, and catches that breath, let the breath catch it, and then you can begin to process again. But to be breathing shallow when you're not in fight or flight or playing, it's ridiculous. If you're just like in traffic or whatever and you're breathing shallow, that is gonna make you crazy.
Yeah, crazy. Someone asked about, hang on, I lost the question, but it was about like weight loss. What do you do about those who are underweight and struggling to gain weight? Has your body balanced out, or did you lose weight at first?
I definitely lost some weight, but it was more so water weight.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't eating as much earth, so naturally you release more water because that's what is countering it. So your balance changes. So if you're trying to gain weight, it's more so like, what are you trying to gain it for? I think you should just evaluate that. Like, why do you feel like you're underweight? What makes you under?